A variable marked with the Boolean data type can have a value true or false. Why the type Boolean is useful? There are several reasons that can explain why it's needed. Boolean can capture a complex logical test result and use it later. Boolean can write a method that does a complex test and returns it. Boolean makes code more readable. Boolean can pass around the result of a logical test. I'll demonstrate use of Boolean in the example project. Within the main method, I'll declare two variables. I'll start with the keyword Boolean, all lowercase. That means this is a primitive variable, not an object. I'll name the variable bool first, and I'll assign it a value of true. Then, I'll create another Boolean variable, and I'll say that one is false. I'll print a string with the value. I will do the same for the bool second. The values of the primitive variables, bool first and bool second, have been translated to equivalent values. So, true gets a string of true, and false gets a string of false. You can take any value and reverse its value by adding an exclamation mark. That's called the negation operator in Java. I'll create another variable that I'll name bool3, and I'll give it a value of exclamation mark bool first. So I'm reversing the value of bool first. It's starting as true and I'm changing it to false. Let's print it. Bool first was true, and bool3 is false. In addition to the keywords, you can also create Boolean values from expressions by comparing values to each other. I'll create an integer that I'll name integer first. I'll give it a value of 0. Then I'll declare Boolean bool4, and I'll assign that an expression wrapped in a pair of parentheses. I will write condition that integer first not equal to 0. So, once again, I'll output the result to the console, and bool4 is false. Because integer 4 does not equal to 0, the expression is evaluating whether the values don't match, and so it returns false. Finally, I'll show that you can take a string with the value of true or false, and parse it as a real primitive Boolean. I'll create a string called string bool, and I'll give it a value of true. Then, I'll create a Boolean variable that I'll name parsed, and I'll give it a value by using the helper class for the Boolean data type. The name of the class is Boolean, with an uppercase B. I'll call a method from that class named parseBoolean, and I'll pass in string Boolean, then I'll output the result. Note that when you call parseBoolean, you must pass the strings true and false. So, let's look at Boolean values. When you want to represent Boolean values, it's recommended that you use primitives whenever possible. You can also use the Boolean helper class in some circumstances, but it takes a bit more memory. But, as you can see, it also has incredibly helpful methods you can use to manage your Boolean values. All primitive variables, as I've mentioned previously, can have default values. So, if you declare them, but you don't assign their values, a Boolean will always start off as false. Please click like and subscribe my channel.